Hello children, welcome to today's class. Children, today we are going to learn the Northern Mountains lesson 3 part 4. So already we have learned part 1, part 2 and part 3 of this lesson, isn't it? So what are all the things we learned in those parts? We have seen about what is meant by Northern Mountains and what is the specialty about the Himalayas, and generally what are the different ranges we find in the Himalayas, isn't it? So these are all the ranges which we see in the Himalayas, and we have learnt about the difference between the Greater Himalayas, Middle Himalayas and Outer Himalayas, and we have seen the climatic difference between those regions, isn't it? And along with it we have seen what sort of effects will be happen due to the climatic difference, and apart from that we have seen the impact of Himalayas in climate and the rain bearing clouds. So far we have seen these many concepts, isn't it? So continuation of that, in part 4 we are going to learn two main things. One is about the plants of Himalayas, that is the different species of plants that generally exist in Himalayas, and the next is the different animals which live in Himalayas. So these are all the things which we are going to learn in detail in this part 4. So by the way, the contents we are going to look forward is introduction, plants in Himalayas, animals in Himalayas and national parks. So children, let us start. So as I told you earlier, Himalayas will be having a very cold kind of climate, isn't it? So generally we segregate Himalayas into three ranges: the Greater Himalayas, the Middle Himalayas and the Outer Himalayas. Yes. So what are the different three climates exist there? The Greater Himalayas will be very cold in nature. Obviously it will be having a very snowy climate always, whereas the Middle Himalayas, there will be a little bit pleasant climate. It will not be neither hot or it will not be neither snowy. It will be a very chill and pleasant climate. Whereas in the Outer Himalayas, it will not be same as the Middle Himalayas. It will not be neither cold or it will not be neither too hot. So that is like a general climate in the Outer Himalayas. So basis on these kind of climates, this climate not only influences the living area of a place, but it also influences the plants in the Himalayas and also the living of the living of the animal condition in the Himalayas. So first of all we are going to learn the different plant species which exist in the Greater Himalayas. So as we learned earlier, Greater Himalayas will be having a extreme cold condition. So what is the climate there? Extreme cold condition. And due to this kind of a cold condition, there will be a little vegetation in this region. There will be only a little vegetation in this region. And along with it, there are only few plants which can grow here. One is shrubs, mosses, lichens, wildflower, blue poppies and edelweiss. So all the picture I have given here, this one is blue color. This we call it as a blue poppies. It's like having a large petal, isn't it? So it is very cute to look. So it will be center in the middle, it will be yellow and it will be having so many buds in the center, and throughout the petals it will be having a combination of blue, purple and somewhat white at the border. Can you see the picture here? Yes, this kind of a flower will be growing in the moisturous places and we call it as a blue poppies. And the next is edelweiss, and the next flower is edelweiss, and it looks like a white daisy. It is very pure white in color, isn't it? So it will be growing bunches together in a plant. Can you see the bunches difference here? Only nearly 3 to 4 flowers are here, whereas it grows in multiple amount, isn't it? So edelweiss grows very closer to each other in a single plant. And the next is lichens. Can you see the lichens here? There is a branch of a tree and over that a big size of leafy like structure there, which we can able to see like a snow patch. It's not in a perfect green in color or it's not in a pale white in color. It's in the mid of the color, isn't it? So it's like a snowy patched leaf. So these kind of structure we call it as a lichens. And the next is mosses. Mosses, generally we notice it as a structure of the grass which we will be noticing in our garden, isn't it? So it's look like a normal grass item, isn't it? So mosses will be generally having the characteristic to grow in a very moisturous place. Always the water will be present there in a very small amount. Only in those places the mosses can able to survive. So these are all the plants which we can easily note in the greater Himalayas. And the next is the middle Himalayas. So in the middle Himalayas, we are going to learn the different trees which grow in the middle Himalayas. So first of all, what is the climate of the middle Himalayas? It will not be very snowy and it will be only little bit summer there. So it will be always a very chill and pleasant kind of climate. So according to that, the first tree we are going to see is pine tree. What is the tree? Pine tree. So this is the shape of the pine tree. It's look like a cone, isn't it? It's look like an inverted cone. So see all the pine trees here. From the last, from the side, everything, the pine tree will be following the same structure of growing, isn't it? Can you see the stem of the tree here? See here. Yes, at the bottom you can able to notice it. At the top you can able to note down the tree. At the top it will be somewhat blunt edged. It will be looks like a blunt edged of a cone. So the pine tree will be having a little bit kind of a leaves and it will always grow in a cone shaped structure. And the next one is oak tree. What is the next tree? Oak tree. So this oak tree will be similar to our normal trees, isn't it? What are all the roadside trees which we have it here? And oak tree will be similar to that of the normal trees. And the next one is poplar tree. What is the next tree? Poplar tree. Yes. So poplar tree will be growing continuously very nearest to each other. See the distance between each and every tree? It has been grown in a very closer distance, isn't it? So check the height wise. It is very height when compared to these two trees, isn't it? It will be very slim and it will be growing in a heighter way and it won't be spread its branches in a cider way. It will always have its branches in a taller way. So it will be very tall and it acts like a shelter belt. Shelter belt in the sense it can able to arrest the airy movement in the particular surface area. And the next tree is cypress tree. What is the next one? Cypress tree. So while seeing the cypress tree, you will be getting the imagine of a restaurant and its front side decorations and all, isn't it? We can able to see some decorative trees like cypress tree, isn't it? Can you able to note down any stem here? Any root part here? No, no branches can be noted. No stem part is there. Only leafy structure we can able to notice from the tree. But when comparing the pine tree and cypress tree, it is a little bit similar to that of the pine tree. It looks in an oval shape and it doesn't have any structural approaches at the side. So this kind of trees we call it as a cypress tree. And the next one is juniper tree. What is the next tree? Juniper tree. Juniper tree will be growing in this way. There are different kinds of juniper tree and this is one among the kind. So always its leaves will be very shorter in nature and it is very thin and thorny way. So this kind of juniper trees will be growing like this and it won't be having any branches, very thick branches at its side. This is the special about the juniper tree. And the next one is birch tree. So this is the tree of the birch tree. It has been taken during the leaf shed time and this is the height of the birch tree and you can able to notice the birch tree as a very normal tree. So children, these are all the different trees which you can easily notify in the middle Himalayas. So what are all the tree? Pine tree, oak tree, poplar tree, cypress, juniper and birch. Okay. So next we are going to see the orchards. Next we are going to see the orchards. So while seeing the picture itself, it is looking to be so colorful, isn't it? Yes. So orchards is nothing but a planting of trees or shrubs that is mainly maintained or grown for food production purpose. For example, an apple tree. Apple tree will be used for our only for eating apples, isn't it? So these kind of plants will be grown in a particular area together almost in a large clusters, and all these trees were intentionally grown only for the food production process. So let us see the definition of an orchard. An orchard is an intentional planting of trees or shrubs that is maintained for food production. So this is the definition of an orchard. Orchards comprises of fruit or nut producing trees which are generally grown. So what kind of an orchard will be? Orchard will be having a tree which will be giving fruits or nuts. Nuts like walnut, almonds, everything will be comes under the nuts, isn't it? So these kind of trees will be grown under the orchards, and this region is also famous for the orchards of apples, plums, peaches, pears, cherries and almonds. So these are all the famous orchards which we can note down on the Himalayan side. See what are all the orchards here? Apples, plums, peaches. This is the picture of the peaches. It looks like an pale apple, isn't it? It is the peaches and pears. Cherries, we all know cherries and almonds. And plants such as rhododendrons. What is the plant name? Rhododendrons. What is the plant name? Rhododendrons. Yes, this is the picture of the rhododendron plant. See, entire leafy structure is not there. Entirely the tree is been shed down and covered with the red color flowers, isn't it? So this is the rhododendron plant which is grown here. And the next is the outer Himalayas. Outer Himalayas, there are two types of forest will be there. One is the deciduous forest and another one is the evergreen forest. What are the two kinds of forest we are going to learn? Deciduous forest and evergreen forest. So first of all, what is meant by a deciduous forest? A deciduous forest, what is the forest name? Deciduous forest. A deciduous forest is a biome dominated by deciduous trees which lose their leaves seasonally. So it looks like an ordinary tree, isn't it? So we will be having four types of seasons. In some season the trees will not be there. Again in the autumn season it will be freshly growing, isn't it? So these kind of trees we call it as a deciduous trees. When these kinds of deciduous trees are more in number, we call it as a deciduous forest. So deciduous forest is a biome dominated by deciduous trees which lose their leaves seasonally. And the next is, they are also known as dry forest. What is the other name for deciduous forest? Dry forest. And another name for these forests is broad leaf forest. What is the other name? Broad leaf forest. Because these trees will be having a wide and flat leaves on the tree. So what is the structure of the leaves? It will be very flat and it will be wide. Wide in the sense it will be breadthwise, it will be larger, isn't it? Wide and flat leaves on the earth. So what are the two names of deciduous forest? Deciduous forest is otherwise known as dry forest, and the other name for the deciduous forest is broad leaf forest. Okay. And the next is deciduous trees such as kikar, sal, oak tree and babul grown here in the large numbers. So just know the names of the trees alone. What are all the deciduous trees grown here? Kikar. What is the tree name? Kikar. Sal, oak tree, teak and babul grown here in large numbers. So the next we are going to see the evergreen forest. Evergreen forest, already we have seen the deciduous forest. What is meant by evergreen forest? Evergreen forest is a forest which remains green throughout the year. The trees lose their leaves continuously throughout the year. Old leaves are shed at the same time new leaves are born. So this is a special thing, isn't it? So in the evergreen forest, all the 365 days in a year, it will be completely greeny in nature. So think about it. The trees will be shedding their leaves. It is like an usual thing. It will shed out the leaves. At the same time, new leaves will be burning here and there. So almost the 365 days in a year, the forest will be very, very greeny in nature. So in evergreen forest is a forest which remains green throughout the year. The trees lose their leaves continuously throughout the year. Old leaves are shed at the same time. New leaves are born. So children, can you get the difference between the deciduous forest and the evergreen forest? Yes. So broadleaf forest and evergreen forest cover this region of Himalayas. Okay children. So see, these are all the few kinds of trees which grown in the region. And then next we are going to see about the animals in the Himalayas. So generally we all will love animals, isn't it? Especially we will be tuning to the channels for seeing different animals, isn't it? Yes. So in this Himalayas there are few animals which have a special outlook and a special characteristic. So see here, animals like snow leopards, musk deer, red panda and wild sheep like in the Himalayas. These are all the animals which live in the Himalayas. This is the leopard. Leopard, everyone knows that. This is a kind of a deer. See, it is standing in a very snow-covered area, isn't it? It is standing in a snow-covered area. This is like a general deer in outlook, but it looks somewhat different. This deer we call it as a musk deer. What is the deer name? Musk deer. Yes. And the next is sheep. It's look like a normal sheep, isn't it? But see the horns of the sheep, it is different somewhat, isn't it? And the skin is slightly different, and its overall look will be slightly like a goat, but it is somewhat different while we are looking there, isn't it? So this kind of a sheep we call it as a wild sheep. What is the sheep name? Wild sheep. And red panda already we have learned in the earlier part, isn't it? So what are all the animals found here? Leopards, that is snow leopards, musk deer, red panda and wild sheep. And the next is many types of birds we can see here in this region. Beautiful birds are here, isn't it? So these kind of birds can be especially noted in this kind of region. So what are all the birds we can see? First is black-necked cranes. Have you seen a crane? Crane will be somewhat taller and it will be having a long neck, isn't it? So see the crane here. It is half black in its neck. It is half black and half white. Its feathery tail will be somewhat black and its neck has been half black and its legs are black, isn't it? So this kind of crane we call it as a black necked crane. And the next is Himalayan quills. We all know what is mean by a quill, isn't it? It will be sweeter in its voice, isn't it? So this is Himalayan quills. So these are the two different types of birds which we can frequently notice in the Himalayan region. And the next animal is yaks. Yak we have seen in the first part itself. Which yak we have learnt? We have learnt about the white domestic yak, isn't it? I have shown the picture of the white domestic yak. And the next is golden langur. You would have all seen about a monkey, isn't it? It's a monkey only. Its skin will be fully golden yellowish in color. See, it is like a light orange and it's like a gold yellow in color. So it is called as a golden langur and its face will be black and it's like a usual monkey tail, but because of its skin color it is called as a golden langur. So what are the two major animals found here? Yak and golden langur are found in the middle Himalayas. And the next is the forest in the outer Himalayas. So next we are going to see about the animals in the outer Himalayas. So what are all the animals we are going to see? Hyena, jackal, Asian elephant, Royal Bengal tiger and one-horned rhinoceros. So these are all the general animals which you would have learnt earlier, isn't it? Hyena, jackal, it will be belonging to the wolf family. Where is the Asian elephant? See the Asian elephant here. Asian elephant and Royal Bengal tiger. What is belongs to the Royal Bengal tiger? It is our national animal. Yes, yes. Royal Bengal tiger is the national animal of India and one-horned rhinoceros. So these are all the animals which we can notice in the forest of the outer Himalayas. And the next is, there are many national parks and wildlife reserves in the northern mountains. What is mean by a wildlife reserve? What is mean by a national park? See here, an area of land that is protected and managed in order to preserve a particular type of habitat and its flora and fauna, which are often rare or endangered. See children, this is an important thing. If a particular area is being preserved by the government, that is, if a particular area is being safeguarded by the government for growing or for preserving a particular animal or a plant, flora in the sense flora and fauna or plants and animals, particular variety of plants and animals which nowadays it cannot be exist in the current scenario, only a few kinds of animals and plants will be there, isn't it? To safeguard those kind of plants and animals, this area is being preserved. And the next is national park. National park is a park officially recognized by the nation's government. So for each and every nation there will be a national park. So national parks are often made to protect the animals that live inside the land or the land itself. So national parks often protect the animals that they live there and in and around. And along with that, animals are protected areas where plants and animals can live freely. So that whenever they are protecting the animals or plants, there won't be any strict way to protect them. They won't be chained anywhere, but it has been safeguarded in the way where they can exist freely in the nature. And the greater Himalayan will be having the following national parks there. We have seen what is meant by a national park. So there are nearly 2 to 3 national parks are there. What are all the national park? The Great Himalayan National Park, Jim Corbett National Park, Kaziranga National Park, and Hemis National Park. So what are the different types of national parks? The Greater Himalayan National Park, Jim Corbett National Park, Kaziranga National Park, and Hemis National Park. So children, so far we have seen about the national parks, forest and animals, evergreen, deciduous, orchids, and the Himalayan plants, isn't it? So now we are going to try out the questions. So by the way, the first question is, you can note down the answers children as usual by writing 1, 2, 3. So the first question is, orchids are generally grown for dash production. Orchids are generally grown for dash production. So what is the purpose of growing an orchid? Second one is, deciduous forest is also known as dash and dash. Deciduous forest is also known as dash and dash. Third one is, evergreen forest remain dash throughout the year. Evergreen forest remain dash throughout the year. So children, have you noted down the answer? So next one is, we are going to check out the answers. So what is the first answer? Orchids are generally grown for commercial production. Orchids are generally grown for commercial production. And the second one is, deciduous forest is also known as dry forest and broadleaf forest. So what is the second answer? Deciduous forest is also known as dry forest and broadleaf forest. And the third one is, evergreen forest remain green throughout the year. So what is the next answer? Evergreen forest remain green throughout the year. So these are the answers which you would have wrote, isn't it? So children, that is a very beautiful lesson. Northern mountains, we have learned many things about the Himalayas, isn't it? I hope that now you can able to explain what is mean by Himalayas, what are all the different ranges, and you can also able to identify what are all the animals and plants exist in the Himalayas, isn't it children? So I hope that you would have had a pleasant session. So meet you up in the next session, children. Thank you.